This is Hannah Blyth and Bria Thomas for Cherwell TV, and today we are here with Declan Clowry, the director of Twelfth Night, Julia Hartley, the assistant director, and Robin McGee, the producer.
So to start off with, of all of Shakespeare's plays, why have you picked Twelfth Night?
I think there are all sorts of reasons for picking it. I mean, it's my personal favourite. I've seen several versions and I've always enjoyed it. But it's just got a lot of it's got a lot of things that carry through to a modern audience. So the comedy is really strong. You've got really funny characters like Sir Toby Belch, who's just this completely over-the-top drunk character, falling about all over the place and shouting at everyone. But then you've got good contrast to that, because you've got his arch nemesis, well, Malvolio, who's the steward, the Puritan one who's just completely up himself, but still somehow thinks of himself as possibly being a romantic.
Orsino too is quite
Orsino
funny.
is very good. I like Orsino actually, yeah.
This sort of over-the-top languorous, oh, woe is me, I'm in love, I'm in pain.
So it's a very, very character-heavy comedy, which of course allows us to draw on the innate skills of the actors much better and amuse the audience at the same time.
And Twelfth Night is obviously a very widely performed play, but you've decided to do something a bit different and set it during the Prohibition period. What led you to make this decision?
Well, as you said, it's widely performed, and I've seen a lot of versions in which it's been set in the 19th century. You get these sort of vague 19th century contexts, like there's the Kenneth Branagh production, which is on film actually, which is kind of just black tie, white tie, roughly that period. Then there's the Trevor Nunn one, which is a very good version. Also, I want to kind of separate myself from the previous versions and do something that people aren't expecting. And I think the kind of 20s-ish, 30s-ish feel is strong for the play. It works well with the hierarchies, because you've got the hierarchies, you've got your lords and ladies and so on. If you completely modernise that gets very confusing. You have to do strange things, like they did with the Romeo and Juliet, when you have these sort of strange corporate families. But there we have them as sort of, I don't like to say gangsters because it just sounds stupid, but they're sort of shady family. They're members of sort of powerful families.
Music's key to the play, from the
Yes.
very onset of the first line of music, be the food of love, play on.
How is it not like that?
How are you
No,
planning to
especially not.
integrate this element of music?
Well, it's partly the setting. I didn't mention this just now. Part of the setting is just based on the fact that when I was going through the play, looking at how I want to stage it before I started doing everything, getting actors in, I was looking at the songs and I was just sort of fiddling about on the guitar, and they were sort of coming out quite bluesy. And I realised that Feste, the fool, the wise fool, who sort of wanders from place to place, has many characters that are rather like a blues man, a sort of travelling musician, which is what he is. So from that, I, along with Orwa, who's playing Feste, have come up with some fresh compositions, sort of in blues, basically a blues style, that fit with that. And we've got the piano as well, on some of the bigger numbers, maybe a bit of drums and things. I want to make music very central to the play, because that's what it's about largely.
I prithee, sing. Come away and in Cyprus, let me be.
And how have you found the combination of the kind of different setting with that original language of Shakespeare?
Well, this isn't the kind of Baz Luhrmann thing where you get people walking around kind of with gangster accents and kind of saying these preposterous kind of 16th century things. So it's obviously very difficult. Would you not agree?
No, I don't think
As we can see, that
I don't think it's particularly difficult. I mean, with a Shakespeare play, it's never going to be done as it was done in the first place anyway. I mean, I have people kind of say weird things to me about stuff supposed to be done either in just period, or whether we want to do things with the language, like have people pronounce things in rather strange ways. Sort of, of course, I don't want to change the script or anything like that, but there's purism and there's purism, and the whole point is you're never going to do it like they did it. We're not going to do it with all men dressed as women. We're not going to do it all in one go. We're going to have an interval, and we're not going to do it in daylight.
we're going to have a script. If we were doing it, technically we wouldn't have a script.
Maybe not. No.
It's all about the characters. Every character speaks in his own way, has his own language. So it's not even that they all speak in the same way. And I think we were talking about the character of Feste before. The way Oro speaks slowly or whatever, like a slightly stoned bluesman or whatever. That works fine with Feste's language. So it's not about the period, but about the characters, I'd say.
And have there been any difficulties that you've come across in staging the production?
Always, I think, the big challenge with this play is it's a large cast. And we've got the full play uncut. So I think it's managing that many people and many different characters and fitting it all together into one thing. Because in a way it's lots of little stories, lots of little plays, all the groups of characters with their own stories. So I think the big challenge, now we've got to this stage of rehearsal, is we've got all the characters, all the plots. Now it's about uniting it into one strong piece.
And speaking of the characters, we have this set of twins, Viola and Sebastian.
That's right. Yes.
I just wondered how much of a factor the twin question was when you came to casting. Have you tried to get this likeness?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, there's only so far you can go, but I was thinking about that when I was casting. It's got to be on people who are good actors as well. But when you've got quite a lot of talent and you're making difficult decisions, then it comes in. And luckily, I think our Sebastian and our Viola look fairly similar.
I wondered what the title means to you as the directors, and why do you think Shakespeare changed the title as many times as he did? I believe he had Malvolio and then What You Will and finally Twelfth Night.
Because in the play, as on the 12th night, 6th of January, it's a typical kind of carnival event when everything gets turned upside down, so all the masters become, I don't know, servants for a day, a servant can become a king for a day and all that sort of thing. And that's kind of what happens in a way, because you get the reversal, of course, of genders. Yeah, I think it's just sort of the idea of everything being turned upside down and ambiguity itself, which is a lot of what it's about. It's about those uncertain situations. No one knows quite where they are in this play.
Let's be honest, if Shakespeare did mean anything by the name, he did probably mean that.
Twelfth Night is being performed from the 1st to the 4th of February at the Keble O'Reilly Theatre, and tickets are available from www.wegottickets.com/F/3724.